Eastern Uganda. Our journey came at the least expected time as we are planning to travel in the opposite direction. Be my guest as we unravel this amazing part of the country. Our trip to Eastern Uganda was unplanned, and I will undoubtedly admit the best things come from unexpected places. Every cloud has a silver lining, as this led to my discovery of a few gorgeous places. We had a late start as we had some unfinished businesses to deal with in Kampala. This got us on the road at around midday, which meant that our expected time of arrival was probably 17 hours. That is without any stops, and this was unlikely to happen. Our route of choice for this trip was via Namugongo, Sonde, Seta, Mukono, then Jinja, as we are always mindful of traffic. There are several routes one can take, with the main route from Kampala through Nakawa, Seta, Mukono and Jinja. Alternatively, another route is through Gayaza, Kalaji, Mukono, then Jinja, or Gayaza, Kalaji, Njeru Road, then Jinja. It all depends on one's mood for the day and appetite for traffic. The drive through Kampala suburbs was busy. The surrounding environment was a riot of color, and there was never a dull moment. Kampala's commuter belt is littered with businesses. With any turn of the eyes, a different business was spotted. The Global Entrepreneurship Monitor 2019-2020 ranked Uganda one of the most entrepreneurial countries in the world, with 30% of Ugandans starting businesses annually. The crunch is how many of these businesses survive after 5 years. In Mukono town, we drowned ourselves in the anarchy of traffic. Unknowingly, there was an accident ahead. We resigned ourselves to take it easy and instead made the journey our destination. Mukono town is a bustling town along Jinja-Kampala highway and is known for its traditional markets, roadside traders and hospitality industry. With such traffic, I noted that crossing the road was a minefield. It is an art in Uganda. With every youngster learning at a tender age, one judges the pace of traffic. At times looking in the eyes of the driver to grab his or her attention, then you'll be good to go. Hand gestures are also brilliant, essentially asking the driver to slow down. At zebra crossings, the same rules apply. Never assume you've got right of way. These are unwritten rules. To the left is the route which leads from Gayaza connecting to Mukono town. Overtaking sometimes can be a nasty business, as you have to grapple with petrol heads who are going to stop a few meters down the road. This time I let him go. Namo Jolo roadside market to my left delivers all kinds of delicacies for travelers. It mainly specializes in meats and roasted foodstuffs. Against our best judgment, we decided not to stop, which we later regretted when our stomachs needed feeding. atmosphere in the car was very quiet as everyone was catching up on their sleep, with the driver being the only man standing. I tell you what, at times I don't mind my own company, but it was other drivers who were driving me up the wall. Frequent stops were also necessary to stretch the legs. Lugazi town sneaked up on us. It's famous for its sugarcane plantations and Lugazi sugar factory. Uganda, being a landlocked country, depends on this highway as a lifeline for a huge percentage of its imports. It is the nearest route to the port of Mombasa in Kenya. The amazing scenery was a distraction from the long drive as I spent a sizable chunk of my time admiring the beautiful landscape. Welcome to Mabira Rainforest. It covers 300 square kilometers and is located in Bugembe district, which is between Lugazi and Jinja. It has been protected as a forest reserve since 1932. It has been the subject to long-term human influence, with a few trees that have been cut down for their valuable timber. The road through this part of the forest was punishing as it was riddled with potholes. The state of the tarmac roads was not to my liking, as I have driven on better roads in Western Uganda. Let's be honest, baby steps are being made towards modernizing the road network. Eventually, it will all come together. Bugembe also has a roadside market to the right, which draws a lot of travelers. With the narrow roads, one needs to have carried a lot of patience. I literally jumped out of my seat when I hit a pothole, gripping the steering wheel so tight as I was hanging onto it for dear life. The AC in our car was not functional, which meant that our windows were kept down or else would be baking inside. Speeding cars kicked off the dust, which meant I was covered in a fine layer of brown dust. I had to apologize to my skin for such poor choice of makeup. The forest reserve attracts visitors who are interested in its natural beauty and diverse flora and fauna. Activities available to visitors include bird watching, wildlife spotting, guided nature walks, camping, cycling, tracking monkeys, ziplining, and cultural experiences. There was never a lonely moment on the road. This is a very busy highway that connects a central part of the country to the east and north, at the same time connecting it to Kenya in the far off east. Finally, we had left the dust behind and there was a breath of fresh air. Well, it's relative if you catch my drift. We were welcomed to Jinga City by this iconic Nile bridge which stands tall across River Nile and is one of the landmarks of Jinga City. Jinga City is the adventure capital of East Africa due to the various attractions which include bungee jumping, zip lining, whitewater rafting, kayaking, jet boating and the source of the Nile. Our plan was to stop at Java House in Jinja. This was a big relief for both input and output without spelling the obvious. I was starving to say the least, and this break was welcomed with both hands. After nourishing ourselves, we got back on the road, fully charged, ready for the next 2/3 of the drive. It was refreshing having a dual-lane carriageway, and I was tempted to put my foot down. One has to be careful as police has a habit of making use of their speed guns. Overtaking was unofficially in the outer lane, which initially bothered me as most drivers were hogging the inner lane. I did a mini research and got to find out that most of heavy goods drivers find themselves comfortable in the inner lane where they are not hassled by the boda riders. I did not get a chance to look at the weather forecast. However, on various occasions we were being threatened with a downpour. This kept it minging and we kept our fingers crossed. We kept our hopes high and certainly were not disappointed. As we approached Bugembe town, the sun gifted us with a few seconds of its precious warmth. Bugembe town is the seat of the Kingdom of Busoga, which is one of the constitutional monarchies in Uganda, with others being the Kingdom of Buganda, Bunyoro, Toro, Ankole, and Rwenzururu. Magamaga town has an ISO of a railway arch on approaching it, and is known for having a military base in its vicinity. The town was rather quiet and we didn't hang around for long. The sun finally made a grand appearance and it brightened up our day, its warmth making the slightly humid atmosphere a little bit uncomfortable. As we approached Iganga town, the town's blue clock tower welcomed us. Nothing seems to have changed in this place. The place seems to be riddled with historic buildings. Change is so glacial in this part of the country. The silver gigantic water tanks to the right are a landmark for Iganga District Hospital. The journey from Iganga through Trinyi to Mbale was a blur. It is a stretch of 100 kilometers with minimal traffic. Once we caught sight of Wanale Hills at 12 o'clock, we were sure Mbale City was in reach. Having arrived safely in Mbale, we made ourselves comfortable and also decided to explore what Mbale City had to offer in the morning. The jaw-dropping sceneries of Nakibiso Falls, the pristine Mount Elgon National Park, and the ancient dark carvenous Kawuka caves all tucked away in the eastern region of Uganda. The locals added a cultural aspect to our visit. The people in the east were very friendly. After spending fleeting moments in their lives, we sadly had to say goodbye. Our visit in Mbale was short-lived as we had family matters to address. This is a story for another day. The clear blue skies over Mbale City were stunning. We made our way to Republic Street. This is the main commercial road where most of the white-collar jobs are located. At the roundabout, the first exit leads to Tororo town, the second exit leads to Iganga, and the third exit leads to Soroti town. We made our way straight on to Iganga. The journey back to Kampala was rather straightforward. At the T-junction, turning to the left leads to Tororo town, offering one a chance to avoid the traffic in Mbale City. This is a famous spot for traffic police officers. We need to have a whole day to have a chat. You either love them or hate them. Rule number 1, never look at them straight in the eye while at the wheel. Rule number 2, never forget rule number 1. Once in a while, the roads are used by figures of power. As we approached Kamonkoli, we heard sirens from a distance, which meant that we had to scramble for the roadside. It is a healthy hazard to drive in the middle of the road, and it provides a sense of uneasiness. At Trinyi, we stopped by to get some fuel. Unfortunately, it wasn't our lucky day. We had to try our luck elsewhere. From Trinyi, we received a warm farewell from the sun as it retired for the day. And I would also like to thank you for your precious time. Thank you for watching, and if you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Till next time.